Welcome back to East West Martial Arts. Today's lesson we're going to be covering stances about every single stance that we have, alright? So the first one we're going to cover is going to be a walking stance. Walking stance is as if you were going to be taking a simple step. So when you're here, if you're standing, just take one small step forward like you were going to just walk straight, alright? Now that's the distance for your walking stance. You're going to bend your knee to where you can't see your toes, keeping your back straight and your body in line. Don't twist in your shoulders either direction. You're keeping it straight going forward, just as if you were taking a simple step, a simple walk forward, but you're bending your front knee, your back knee is locked out, okay? That's a walking stance. Not too much measuring here. Both feet are pointing forward, all right? Next stance is middle. What you're going to do is with your middle, you're going to take it out about 2 shoulders wide. 1.5 to 2 shoulders wide. I go about 2 because I have longer legs, so I have a bigger frame. Alright? Way to measure, take your fists, put them together, and your knees should be directly underneath your elbows when you bend your knees. A nice bend, again, both feet going forward, not bent over or not leaning back. Alright? Your body sits center. Alright? This is middle stance. This is what you practice your key bonds, your star block set. A good way to condition your legs for deep stances, just sit in the middle stance for a while. Alright? That's your middle stance. If you were to take, if you have them, Lodja, some do, some don't, Lodja sticks, measure your shoulders, alright? And then measure shoulder to shoulder here on me. Alright? That's 1 shoulder on me, 2 shoulders. Alright? As you can see, I'm actually a little wide, so I can bring it a little closer, and that's technically my middle stance. I go a little wider because I have a wider base. So 1.5, 2 shoulders is your kind of cookie cutter set. Alright? So that is the actual distance. Remember, bending your knees to where you can't see your toes. Alright? That's key. Never want to see your toes in any stance. Alright? So coming from, again, here, if you were just standing about shoulder width apart, to do the square stance, take your front foot, or your left foot in this case, and put it in front. It's going to be about 2 shoulders wide. Alright? So again, get a measuring device, purchase some of these from uschumtaekwondo.com. Measure your shoulders. So it's 1 shoulder wide. So from here, you can draw a straight line from this Lodja, the end of this Lodja stick, back to my big toe. That's 1 straight line. Now, to make sure I'm the right length, I'm going to take it, make it the same length. This is going to make it 2 shoulders, alright? 2 shoulders from toe to heel is a square stance. So if you can get down here and see, with this stick is touching my heel, the back of that stick is touching my toe. So it's 2 shoulders from toe to heel. Alright? That's the length on the square stance. The reason each stance is measured in certain lengths is so that you can do certain techniques in them, and this is real evident in the next couple stances we're going to cover. Alright? Next stance we're going to cover is T stance. With T stance, if you have your feet 1 shoulder wide, I want you to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn and face you sideways. But my feet are still 1 shoulder wide, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this foot to where it's 1 shoulder wide, 1 shoulder wide, from the center of my foot to the back of my heel. Alright? So that's where it is. Now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see again in this angle. Alright? This right here is T stance. The reason it's 1 shoulder wide is so you can bend your knees and still be 50-50 stance. This is a relaxed stance. You're not leaning back, leaning forward. You're center straight. Alright? So if you have, this is your T stance, 1 shoulder wide. And again, I said each measurement is specific for a reason. The reason this one is 1 shoulder wide and 50-50 weight distribution is so that you can use either leg for a good kick. You can use your back leg for a pivot front. You can use a front leg for a stationary front, stationary round, and it's a good basis where you're not leaning either direction. You can use either foot in this case. Next stance we're going to cover is L stance. Similar pattern, but a different weight distribution. Instead of making your heel line up with the center of your other foot, you're going to match them heel to heel. So making an L with your foot. And you're going to take this foot and stretch it out about 1.5 shoulders. So I'm going to make my 1.5 mark, my 1 mark, take my other stick, make it about half that. Here is the 1.5 mark. It is 1.5 to 2. So if I was to do 1.5, that would be the length right here. And it lean, and when you bend, and you lean back slightly in this stance. It's about it's a 50-50, it's about a 70-30 weight distribution for this one. The reason this one is measured this specific way is so that you can easily do a front leg front kick. Alright? The weight distribution is that way, so it's easier to use the front leg for a quick attack. Alright, the back leg takes the most of the weight so that the front foot can come up, do the kick, and slide back into a comfortable position. Now you can do the back leg in here, and it gets more power from this position because when you do it this way, you're taking the weight and you're shifting it forward. So with the front foot, it's a quick attack. With the back foot, it's power. So that's the reason it's designed this way, to be this length and this weight distribution. Last stance we're going to cover is called cat or tiger stance. You'll hear me refer to both throughout class, but it's still the same foot pattern. With this stance, you're going to take your feet about half a shoulder width. So here is 1/2 of my shoulders here, and it's going to be from the inside of my foot to where the ball of my foot rests. Okay? So that's my cat or tiger stance. And the reason it's like that is, again, it's mainly for a quick front attack. Alright, you're here, there's hardly any weight on this leg. It's about an 80-20. Okay? You have 80% of weight on this leg right here. Quick front attack. The way to condition your legs for this is getting in your stances and practicing them every day. No matter what stance it is, practice it. Condition your muscles for this. Follow the directions that I'm making so specific so you can get your stances right and work these muscles so that when you come in to class, you're not feeling an extra burn because you haven't been practicing. Practice hard these stances. The middle stance, the square stance, the T stance, the L stance, and the cat stance. Practice them all so that your legs are really suited for what you've got to go through. Stay tuned for more lessons. We'll be covering the different ways to apply a kick in next week's lessons. So check back soon at East West.